You know, Cyril Ramaphosa, he is a shameless traitor and anti-black apologist of apartheid and colonialism. So Cyril Ramaphosa appoints his long-term friend and apartheid apologist, Roelf Meyer, as South Africa's ambassador to the United States of America. Right? So, fellow South Africans, something is not right. At a time when this country is crying out for transformation, at a time when black people are still fighting for land, dignity, and economic justice, we are now being told that Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed a man who's an apartheid apologist and, more importantly, a long-term friend as South Africa's ambassador to the United States. What does this mean? Is this diplomacy or is this elite networking disguised as governance? Today we are going to unpack this appointment, the implications for South Africa, and ask a very uncomfortable question. Who is the government really serving between us as ordinary citizens, natives who are the majority? Or are they merely serving the interests of the powerful, which is the white monopoly capital? The appointment. Reports have emerged that Roelf Meyer, a man with deep ties to powerful networks and controversial views about apartheid, has been appointed to represent the South Africa's democratically elected government in one of the most diplomatic positions in the world. Let us be clear. The ambassador to the United States is not just a ceremonial role. No, it is not. This is South Africa's face to global power. This is the person who negotiates trade deals, influences foreign policy, and represents our national identity abroad. So the question becomes, why this man? Why now? Because in politics, there are no coincidences, only interest. That's the thing about politics. There are no coincidences. It means the events are the events that are well planned and orchestrated. So we must ask the question, to advance whose interest? The friendship of favoritism. We are told that this is someone close to Ramaphosa, a long-term associate. We know Roelf Meyer and Ramaphosa gave birth to this anti-black constitution we have in this country. So Cyril Ramaphosa, remember how Cyril Ramaphosa emerged to be the ANC president in 2017? He emerged at the back of being funded by the white monopoly capital. Of course, to safeguard and advance its interest. So he's rewarding that white monopoly capital. Right. So now let us pause here. South Africa has millions of qualified, competent black professionals who understand the history of oppression, the agency of transformation, who understand the importance of representing a truly democratic South Africa. But instead, Cyril Ramaphosa goes and appoints a 78-year-old to that position so as to ensure that the interests of the white monopoly capital are preserved. So, but instead, we get someone who is a known apologist and known of sympathizing with a system that brutalized our people. That raises a serious concern. Is this about competence or connections? Because what we are witnessing looks less like governance and more like cronyism at the highest level. And this is not new. This is part of a broader pattern where political elites recycle the same people. Strategic positions go to insiders. The masses are left out in the cold. The apartheid question. Let us deal with the elephant in the room. Apartheid was not just a policy, it was a crime against humanity. Millions of black South Africans were dispossessed of land, stripped of dignity, economically marginalized. So when someone is labeled an apartheid apologist, right, that is not a small accusation. It's not to be taken lightly. It means we are being associated with defending or minimizing a system of oppression. Now ask yourself, how does South Africa, a country still healing, send such a figure to represent it internationally? What message does that send to the victims of apartheid, the youth fighting for economic justice, the global community watching us? It sends one message, that the pain of black people can be negotiated. Unfortunately, that's what it sends. What this means for South Africa, this decision is bigger than one individual. It speaks to the direction of the country, because foreign policy is not neutral. It reflects who you are as a nation. By making this appointment, the government is telling us who they are, who they value, who they believe should represent us. And clearly, it is not the ordinary South Africans, unfortunately. It is not the grassroots activist. It is not the young professionals struggling to break into the system. It is someone from within elite circles. And that is dangerous. Because when leadership becomes disconnected from the people, it starts serving power instead of justice. The USA factor. Let us talk about the United States. The US is not just any country. It is a global superpower with massive influence over trade, finance, and politics. So whoever represents South Africa there must be politically sharp, historically conscious, loyal to the interest of the people. But the same cannot be said about Roelf Meyer. But here's the concern. What if the ambassador is more aligned with elite interests than the struggle of ordinary South Africans? Because then South Africa is not negotiating as a sovereign nation. It is negotiating as a junior partner in a global system that continues to exploit Africa. Betrayal of the struggle. Many fought and died for this democracy. People like Nelson Mandela, Chris Hani, they died, right? And they did not sacrifice so that decades later South Africa will be represented by individuals linked to defending the very system they fought against. So we must ask, has the revolution been captured? Has the struggle been diluted? Are we witnessing a slow betrayal of everything our people fought for? In conclusion, South Africa, this is not just about one appointment. This is about accountability, representation, the future of this country. Because leadership decisions like this shape the direction of the nation. So I ask you, do you agree with this appointment? Do you think this represents the will of the people, or is this another example of elites protecting their own? Comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. If you believe in truth, justice, and unapologetic African voices, like this video, subscribe to IZWI LABANSUNDU, join to become a member to IZWI LABANSUNDU, and share this message far and wide. Because the struggle continues and our voices must never be silenced. IZWI LABANSUNDU, the voice of the people. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Tebos Kosana. Kamaguma Africa.